Hi everyone, my name is Eileen Burns and I help healers and empaths and spiritual entrepreneurs live more of their life and soul purpose with ease. I do this in a variety of ways, but one of the main ways that I now focus on is helping spiritual entrepreneurs who are often empaths and healers unlock more of their gifts, unlock more of what I call their zone of genius, and more of their soul gifts, their soul essence, and help them step up in their business and their life and to heal any sabotaging behaviours that are stopping them really own what they are here to do. Now, how did I get started in this work? Well, that's a long story, but I will try and keep it as short as possible. Over 30 years ago, I started to have a lot of very complex and rare health challenges and some chronic health challenges. I had a sort of rare condition from a child. But then at 19, I was mercury poisoned. A dentist, an elderly dentist that I think should have retired, basically put mercury up a root canal instead of the actual tooth that was right up the nerve. And it was really strange, but then a couple of days of this, I had a lot of kind of issues, and then I became very, very seriously unwell. Now, at the time, I was very young, I was only 19, and I didn't really fully correlate the challenges that I had. I come down with what appeared to be a severe type flu illness, one that was so severe that I started having episodes where I was going paralysed. I had real violent shaking, I had the strangest symptoms, I had all the symptoms you would get from a flu type illness. I had other things that developed from that, and things that impacted my spatial awareness. I went from someone who walked at least 5 miles a day and who loved to dance and I loved to sing. I was in a band and I was quite shy, even though I was in the band, and I found sometimes that stressful, but I was a very active person. I had several jobs. I came from a bit of a family business background, so I was a hard worker. And I went from that to someone who literally could hardly walk. Initially, I really struggled just to walk to the bathroom. And even when I started building my stamina, I just couldn't do normal things. Even walking to a bus stop was horrendous for me. It was so exhausting. I was out of breath. And as I said, I developed a lot of complications. These complications would develop further, and I would have it was almost dips and troughs over the next 2 or 3 years until while I was at college studying music, I got so ill my lecturers were very seriously worried about me. I had an inkling that I was losing my sight in my left eye, but because I was young, I had been already to a doctor and they didn't really believe me. And then it wasn't until I started getting really, really sick. I had no choice. I was collapsing all the time. I ended up having to go back and stay with my parents, where for about 7 years I was chronically ill, and I would spend periods of time being what you would class housebound and bedbound. And that had triggered me into start to go down the holistic and the healing work. At 19, I had an interest in certain holistic approaches, and I had started going to different people. And then I think it was about 2021, I started to study Reiki while I was at college. And even though I started these things, there was lots of things that my health started to deteriorate rapidly, just because I was actually suffering from burnout. So I was then diagnosed with severe ME, and then we would find within a few days later that I actually had a very, very rare complication that the doctors had never seen before, eye specialists never seen, but it was a hole in the back of the eye. Interestingly, the hole was right the area of the hole that around here was parallel to where the mercury poisoning was. Now, I would end up having a long journey of healing due to the medical challenge I had as a baby, the mercury poison, and then I also had been bitten by something at 14 that had caused lots of problems, and I would have found out later that it had been a tick bite. So along this path, one of the interesting things that I found out was I met some amazing people and many very gifted and talented people. I also met people who I could tell weren't in their business always living their true purpose, weren't always, how could you say, really showing up in their business, and they were maybe struggling financially. I saw that, but I also, in my experience, I also had lots of other experiences where I was sold lots of products and services that were never ever going to help me or were actually detrimental for my health, which became very frustrating for me, and at times was heartbreaking, because sometimes if you're anyone who's been on a low income, who's been sick for a long time, I didn't get even normal state benefits because of a problem with my national insurance contributions when I was a student. So I was on this very low income, and my parents did everything they could to try and support me and pay for things, and I did as much as I could. And there was many things that I was given that, looking back, were never the right treatments, and basically it was naivety from the practitioner's perspective for a variety of reasons. But also I realised that sometimes some of these coaches and healers and therapists meant well, but they weren't always really in their purpose. You know, we look at a healer and a coach and a therapist, but even within that today there is there's strands, and the more that you niche down in your area of expertise, you actually help the client in the best way. And I don't mean you just help any client, you attract the right clients, you align with the right clients, and you don't waste their money, you don't have them coming for years and not actually progressing. And that, and combined with something that I naturally did from a young age, I loved helping my friends find their careers and get them motivated and help them move forward into something that they wanted to do but maybe felt that they were a wee bit nervous about or lacking confidence. So it's something I always did. And I was someone that studied a lot of things in the coaching, healing and therapy industry. And the reason I studied a lot of things was I had a lot of downtime. I couldn't physically do a lot because it would make me so ill. So I spent a lot of time, and I done a lot of online learning, and I'm going to Open University and then did things at university, kind of courses and different things. But I was mostly an educator. So I worked for a large part of my 20 years as an educator, and a large part of that was going out into the community when I was well enough, and I sold online products. And that really got me, a lot of healers asking me to help them with, sometimes with their website, their business, helping them niche down, and it took me down a path of really being able to take healers up level their work and help them see what was their area of expertise. Because one of the biggest problems a lot of healers have is if they go to maybe a normal business coach or a marketing mentor, they don't always understand the healer's role, and they don't always understand that every healer has a different perspective on spirituality and has different levels of awareness, levels of training and insight. And for someone who's been in the industry, who's bought from the industry for over 30 years, someone who's bought a lot in the industry for 30 years, being part of the industry, it's a lot easier for me. And one of the things that I love doing is helping people that are, I think we all are spiritually aligned. We just don't see that, but those who feel spiritually aligned and want to do that kind of work, I really help them hone in. And I also use approaches like archetypal therapy and healing, and even archetypal marketing, as well as inner child work to support clients. And I'm someone that has studied counselling, psychology, psychotherapy. I've studied all sorts of channeling and spiritual healing. So, the inner child work, it's not something that I take lightly. Inner child work is something that has to be done in a step-by-step, safe process. And it's something that I use in my work to help clients shift through challenges that they're having, shift through sabotaging behaviours. Because one of the things that I found in my business was that there are certain archetypal traits that we all have that show up in our business, but we often do not see them. And it's often those are the things that actually our clients are attracted to. There is also aspects in our archetypal traits, what we call shadow traits and lower level traits, that sabotages in our business. For example, I'm a strong caregiver. So even though I have the alchemist within me, I also have the creator within me. I'm the natural healer. At my core, I am a giver. I've got a motherly energy. Now, that can be really positive when you're supporting other healers who can be a wee bit burnt out by helping other people, particularly wounded healers that are still adjusting to that. But the reality is also that I had to learn more and more about healthy boundaries. I had to stop being the rescuer. I had to learn that in my business it was so important that even though part of the overgiving could be my signature in some areas of my business, there was other areas that would not be helpful, that I had to start learning firm boundaries. And archetypes is something that I work with strongly, and I use it to utilise to help people actually see more of their purpose. Archetypes can be an easy way for you to identify the traits that your clients are going to be more attracted to. Now, other than that work, I also run an online training school, and that teaches people stress management, anxiety management skills. It was my main job for many years. I've been studying stress management for, I think that's nearly 30 years as well. It's at least over 25 years. And I use a lot of these approaches as well because no one wants a stressed out coach, a stressed out or anxious healer or therapist. It's so important that you get grounded, that you're calm and you're fully present. And I have accredited training. I have accredited relaxation therapist training, and I also have a new course that is a stress management practitioner course, which is an add-on for my relaxation training. And I do these two things, even though they're slightly different clients in some of these. They work together because at the foundation of any business has to be, you have to be calm and confident. You have to be centered. You have to have the ability to be able to access that peace, that stillness within you, and have a strong spiritual connection. If you're very stressed and anxious, you make very unhealthy and unwise decisions in your business. So all of that has made me the coach and healing therapist that I am today. But I want to help you evolve into more of your life and soul purpose. Help you do what you're here to do. Help you unlock, help you own and share the gifts that you're meant to share with the world, and to share those with the soul clients, the clients that are most aligned with what you're offering. So get in touch. Okay, bye for now.